So welcome to Project You, Project Me, removing your fear in transition. And we've got one of our great course provider partners today in Quanta, and we've got the lovely Teresa. How are you, Teresa?
I'm fine, thank you, John. And you?
I'm all good, I'm all good. And we hear that Claire has fled the nest. So
Well,
like
she's
usual,
fleeing,
Claire's not,
yes.
yeah, absolutely disgusting, but good luck to Claire in the future. I'm sure we'll see her back here. But before we start, it's always nice for people to understand who Teresa is, because we should really know who's actually speaking to us. So tell us a bit about yourself, kind of where you grew up, a bit of information on what you've kind of done in your career up to now.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I don't know how you put it. Sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, but I was an army brat. So my dad was in the army. He was in the signals. I was growing up, going from here to this place. I ended up in Wales, was where I was born. Then we went from Wales to Singapore. Unfortunately, I was too young to understand or realize taking the culture. And then we ended up back in the UK when I was about 4. So grown up within the army culture. Then my dad retired. My brother joined the army when he was 16, so it was sort of like carried on in that sense. And then as I got older, did a few retail jobs, just sort of like after school. Worked my way through to like supervisory management level, and then fell into sales.
Oh,
So I started sort of like getting to grips with sales when funnily enough, working for the bank. I never thought that the bank would be very salesy, but it ended up being very salesy in the end. And then left there through an opportunity through a mum at school who had her own printing company, and they
okay.
sold
Yes.
magazines. So I fell into advertising.
Wow.
So did a few years of advertising, and then that was sort of like the area that we were working on was sort of like petering off a bit. So left there through redundancy and come and joined Quanta, and that was 7 years ago.
Wow. So you've been there 7 years now.
I have
Wow.
started off in the resettlement team,
Yeah.
um, sort of still helping Claire with the odd query and that she has. Moved out of the resettlement side of things and went more into the account management side. That was sort of like last year when Amanda left. And now it's gone full circle. And Claire is now going on to bigger, better things. So it looks like I might be back in the driving seat.
All right. Fantastic. Well, that's a varied career, isn't it? You did a lot of experience.
Yes, I know. So
Wow.
sales was not what I would have seen myself doing, but I just sort of fell into it really.
Yeah, it's something that the people in the military don't believe that they would be any good at, or I don't think they get what sales is.
As long as you can speak to people.
But the sales and everything.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would never have thought that the bank was, but it was very, very salesy.
yeah, so fantastic. So you've got a kind of a big background within the military sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of why it probably gives you a good feeling now when you see people succeeding and
It is. And I saw when I saw this job advertised, I just thought, oh, I really fancy doing that. I think I'd really enjoy that. Because it's more about helping people. I didn't see it as a sales
yeah.
job. I saw it more of sort of like, yes, you can actually help people make a difference.
Okay, so moving on to that then. So moving into Quanta, what is Quanta?
Quanta. Okay, so Quanta is a family-run um, training company.
Okay.
They've been going for 30 plus years now. So they've gone through, well, 2 recessions, I suppose, if you class the last one as we were supposed to be in. And they've pulled through every time. And the last sort of 12 plus years of that, it could even be longer. But to my knowledge, they've been providing ELC packages to the armed forces, service leavers, and ex-services.
Always the same courses.
Yeah, funnily enough, project management, because we found that a lot of people want to go into project management.
Hmm.
So you've got your basic project management qualifications. So we do those, but we also have like other courses that complement project management
Okay.
that people probably necessarily don't think about.
Tell me what they are.
Okay, so you've got your Prince 2. Everyone knows Prince 2. Everyone knows the APM PMQ, and the new kid on the block, not so new, but agile seems to be coming more and more to the forefront. But saying that, neither one of those is, because people always say, oh, but Prince 2 is old hat now. No, they're all main leaders depending on what industry you're going into. And then the courses that I was talking about that complement these are the things like managing successful programs.
Right.
Because if you're working on a project, there's generally programs going on behind it. So you've got your managing successful programs, you've got your management of risk, as in the business sense, not the health and safety sense. And then you've got your change management, which I always say to people, you know, change happens everywhere. And that I always find that is a really good versatile qualification.
Yeah, so that's not advice that I would have been privy to when I was leaving. So I wish I had got that, because it's these kind of interlocking courses that actually probably punch you into these
and it's also sort of like drilling down and finding out, okay, so somebody says, oh, I want to do Prince 2, so we won't just go, great, we can put a package together for you. We will go, okay, so why Prince 2?
Yeah, so
why is it that one that you want?
So breaking down, let's just do the three.
Yeah.
Prince 2, APM, and
okay,
agile. Where would you, and I know they probably overlap in many ways, or at least some of them can overlap. Where would you kind of suggest they fit if you were going to give it a cop?
Yeah. Well, Prince 2, we always say to people who are looking at construction,
right?
Because Prince 2 is generally the main one that they use in construction. Just because Prince 2 is a project where it goes from A to B. So you know what you want, you know what you're going to end up with, and not a lot changes in between. So it's very sort of structured. So we always say Prince 2 for that. Agile is originally designed around IT and technology and engineering, because, as you can imagine, software always changes. Engineering changes along the way. So agile is where you're chunking down your project and you're always revisiting it. You're making tweaks along the way. So hence the name agile. And then APMP is your toolbox. So how we say with APMP is, it is how you go about project management. So you really need to have sort of an understanding of project management to be able to do the APMP, because it's drawing on experience as well. And when I speak to people about Prince 2 and APMP, I always, this is my little thing, I say, if you think of Prince 2 is your driving theory test and APMP is your actual driving test. So one is telling you about how to do it, and the other one is, right, this is what you need to do it.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important, because many people who are leaving the forces believe they're a project manager, but I'm not convinced they all actually really know what.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are involved in projects, and that's probably why project management is the natural sort of like gravitation. But with APMP, we generally, again, it's another course where we will not just put people on it. We have a set of questions that we ask them, that the trainer has given to us, just to sort of like say, okay, so do you know about commercial terms and conditions? Have you worked with external companies, business cases? So it's all that side of project management that you really need to have a little bit of understanding on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, clearly I run my own business now, and a lot of things crop up and I haven't got a clue what some of them are. It's kind of as if I've just made it all up. Somehow I've got to where I am. But I didn't really understand the ins and outs of running a project like this from start to finish. But I guess some of it is going to be learning.
And we will say, you know, if they want a project management qualification, you'll generally find if you have a Prince 2 or an agile, depending on which industry you're going into, they're happy with that. And then we generally say, you know, have about 12 months in the job and then come and do your PMQ.
Yeah. And we're getting a lot of that from business. A lot of our businesses aren't stressing that you need just this, or they're pretty, like you said, Prince 2's certainly not dead.
No.
I hear this from a lot of people. The reality is there's other things coming out, so people believe that's the new thing and this is the old.
Yeah.
But we should certainly be making sure we do the correct one, but understand that. But what's the time scales to do one of these qualifications?
Okay. So Prince, you're looking at 5 days. And they're all quite intense, really. So 5 days, and that is covering your foundation and your practitioner. So you come,
okay.
you do the 5 days learning. Midweek, you do your foundation. At the end of the week, you do your practitioner. Done. And I think that's why a lot of people like it, because there's no, there's no sort of gaps in between. They come on the Monday, they finish on the Friday, they've sat their exams, and they're just waiting for their practitioner result.
Fantastic. And the exam, is that all included in the whole of the ELC?
Yeah.
Everything's included.
With the People Cert courses, which is like your Prince 2, your MSP, your MOR, they are virtual exams.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
No, when they come here, when they come to Worcester and sit a course, it is a paper one. But if they're doing it through a virtual learning, then it's all online, where they go and choose their own time slot, and then they can complete their exam online.
Okay. And I'm sure there's some people on listening to this, or who will listen to this, will probably say, what if I fail?
What if you fail? Yeah, don't have that mindset. No, it happens. It happens.
One of those things.
We all think we are great at doing things, and then when we actually get down to the nitty gritty, we realize, oh, I'm struggling here. Resits. If somebody does fail their foundation or practitioner, we can arrange a resit, and it's not as expensive as the original exam, but yeah, you do have to pay for it still.
Okay, so there's a second payment. That's all, just so people know.
But also with People Cert, there is something called Take Two, that they call it. And that is where you can, when you're booking your exam, or at the time of booking, take out the Take Two. So it's a bit of an insurance.
Right.
So if you fail, you can retake your exam, but you pay, I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head. It's about 100 and something pounds.
Yeah, that would have been good advice for me, because I'm a rubbish learner.
It is. I don't tend to sort of highlight that too much, because you're sort of saying you're going to fail. So I don't like to put that in the mindset, but it is on our literature when we send out our packages to say, there is this option of Take Two.
Right. Okay. So I know that you come to our shows, and you will continue coming to those, and we have a lot of interest in your shows. In Claire, clearly it's going to be you now, but Claire, to give her another shout out, always seemed to be pretty busy. But moving kind of forward, how does somebody, if they wanted Prince 2, APM or Agile right now, what do they do? How do they come to you? Where are they going to get that course?
Okay, so you can find us on LCAS. If people are searching LCAS, if that's how they do it, put in Prince 2, it'll give you a load of providers. But we generally find that most people come to us, the majority of our delegates that come to us is through word of mouth.
Right.
So somebody's been on a course with us, thoroughly enjoyed it, taken a lot from it, and they've gone away and gone, right, okay, somebody said, oh, I'm hitting resettlement, I'm looking at doing courses, and they'll go, you need to speak to Quanta. So we're proud of that a lot of our business is through word of mouth. But we do attend like open days at different bases. We attend your job fairs. So we have like other events that we do go to, where we're sort of like getting Quanta and getting us recognized that way.
And if they click through the LCAS site, would that be an email that come through, or is there a phone number that can call?
They'd have to go onto the website. If they go onto the Quanta website.
The Quanta website, okay.
Yeah. There's an actual tab in there. When it comes under divisions, it'll say resettlement. And if you go to that, there's like an inquiry form.
Fantastic. And it's good advice for people, the FTG only work with companies that we believe and hear great things about. Well, clearly we don't know the ins and outs of your whole business and things like that. But what we do see and hear is amazing feedback. Thus the reason that, we partnered with you last year, which is fantastic, because that's what we want to be pushing through. People need them qualifications, then best get them from the best places,
Mm.
from people who actually care. And that's why we want to come on and talk about who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
That.
We won't just sell anybody a package because that's what they're after. We
Yeah.
always sort of like have a little bit of a chat to them and say, okay, why? And many a time I've had somebody say to me that they want Prince 2 and APMP, and I'll find a bit more out about what they're going for, what job they're looking at. And it turns out they're going for an engineering job or an IT job. And I say to them, well, why haven't you looked at Agile? And they go, oh, I don't know. And so we've sort of like said, well, this is what Agile is for, this is what it was designed around, and they don't have to take our advice, but we've been doing it long enough now that it's all about drilling down into what industry you're going into.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll put your website so people can connect very, very easily through that onto some social media, some marketing that we put out. And as soon as this podcast goes live, they'll want to be able to see that. And then we'll get that onto the website so people can directly inquire straight through that link as well by just putting the details in, which means, people can understand that they're coming to yourself, for example, if you're the person that we're working with. But Teresa, it's going to be great again to see you next week. And thank you very much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure to work with you guys. And I've got no doubt we'll go from strength to strength. And
brilliant.
More people will get through great qualifications and into fantastic futures.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add as well, I did mention that we have the Certified Scrum Master as well. Certified Scrum Master, Certified Product Owner. Okay. And then we do ITIL 4 and CompTIA. So we do a little bit of the tech side of it as well.
Fantastic. That's all great advice, and we'll be able to get all that on the website as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's fantastic to see you. And
lovely to meet you again.
Stay safe.
Cheers then. Bye.